Hello and welcome to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Cara DeFalco.
And I'm Mike Favetta. Thanks for joining us. Cara, great to see you after a few weeks off.
You
Got a
as
lot of hot
well.
weather.
I noticed we got
Yeah,
some new weather graphics going on. They look pretty good. We'll talk about that in a bit.
very excited about those. Yeah, stay tuned. We got more of that coming up later today. But speaking of weather, climate kind of goes hand in hand. And the State of the Climate Report for New Jersey 2023 was announced yesterday. This year's report provides annually updated information on warming New Jersey temperatures, increasing sea levels, and the consequences of more extreme rainfall. Here to give us the details is Assistant Extension Specialist in Climate Services with the New Jersey Agricultural Experiment Station and the Department of Environmental Sciences at Rutgers University, Dr. James Shope. Dr. James, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. How are you today?
Good, thanks. We're so glad you could join us. Can you describe the purpose of the report and the associated webinar?
Yes, so the report itself is an annually updated report on the latest climate trends for New Jersey. So from year to year, the actual values don't change too much, but it's a log of warming temperatures, changing sea level rise from authoritative sources. So not just Rutgers, but from the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, as well as others. And each year we also have a feature piece, like this year we discussed wildfires, that are indicative of potential hazards in the future with a changing climate.
So tell us, what are some takeaways for climate trends in New Jersey, like annual temperatures or sea level rise? What does the report show?
So, as you'd expect, temperatures in New Jersey have been increasing like they have globally. In fact, 2023 was our third warmest year on record. Now, globally, it was the warmest year on record. And as we look at other trends like sea level rise, again, it's been increasing off the coast of New Jersey, and in fact, is increasing at a much faster rate compared to global average sea level rise. And we've been seeing more dramatic storms, heavier rainfall, more intense rainfall as we've been going along in recent decades, and we expect those trends to continue into the future.
So, Doctor, as you guys are watching and monitoring these trends, for the everyday New Jersey resident, what does that mean? What can they expect in terms of weather, natural hazards? What do those things equate to?
Yeah, so discussing those downstream effects from just the kind of amorphous climate trends to what it means on the ground is really important and a big part of the report. So, for example, when it comes to heat and extreme temperatures, as our annual temperatures rise, so do our summer temperatures, and we expect to see more heat waves and just higher temperatures in the summer in general. And that can lead to negative health outcomes like more heat stress for our individuals in New Jersey, especially those that live in our urban areas where our temperatures tend to be a bit higher than in, say, forested or more rural climates. When it comes to extreme rainfall, we've seen in the past few years how susceptible New Jersey is to flooding, and we expect to see more of those incidences cropping up. And they can damage property, harm people, and cause other sorts of issues like illness from food and water contamination. So there's these very real public health outcomes from these larger scale climate trends, especially if you're thinking about living along the coast and you have to deal with more consistent flooding and the like that can damage your home or harm you as an individual as well.
Now, on the note of the public health outcomes, we had a bad wildfire smoke event last year. And now, what effects did we see in New Jersey, and why did you include that event within this report?
Yeah, so it's a climate report, and a wildfire or a wildfire event seems like a one-off kind of thing to include, but we think it's important to include because it's indicative of what we may be experiencing more so in the future. And it really highlights how our effects in New Jersey are not just contained to New Jersey. Climate change, the atmosphere, the ocean, they don't obey political borders. So what happens outside the state will affect us here in New Jersey. Now, the impacts from that were pretty heavy. So we had a huge wildfire season in Canada that generated, I think it was over 480 megatons of emissions, of carbon emissions. And the smoke from that wildfire has a number of different harmful pollutants in it. And winds brought that smoke to New Jersey in two separate episodes in last June, one around the 7th that was really bad, where the air quality was hazardous to very hazardous, and one later in the month that was a little bit better. And those have really negative consequences, especially for folks that have respiratory illnesses like asthma, COPD, as well as just your average person on the ground. If you remember, you didn't want to be outside during that period. It kind of looked pretty scary out there. So we wanted to highlight that as something that impacts us in New Jersey, that's external, but also maybe something that we will have to contend more so in the future as the world warms and in certain locations things become drier and more susceptible to wildfire.
And Doctor, where can we go to read the report, get more information, and see that full update?
Yes, so the report is housed at the New Jersey Climate Change Resource Center website. The actual website address is njclimateresourcecenter.rutgers.edu. So I encourage you to please check that out. There's both the report and the recorded webinar from yesterday on there. That also has Doctors David Robinson, the state climatologist, and Anthony Broccoli, a distinguished professor in the environmental sciences, as well as Lori Garzio, who is a research specialist in our marine sciences department, who all gave their perspective on the state of the climate in New Jersey.
Excellent. Dr. James Shope, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for all your insight and information and breaking it down for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one. Mike, I know this is your wheelhouse right here. I'd have to say, I'm very, as a Rutgers alum, I'm very proud that Rutgers University is so involved with this research. And I think it's really important that we have universities involved in research like this, because I think it adds more credibility to it, especially for a lot of folks who say, well, don't have necessarily faith in government issues, but it's like, well, this publicly funded university is also involved.
That's true. No, I think that definitely brings up a credibility point, whereas you have certain, NGOs or certain independent organizations may release reports, and then you have an established accredited university that provides some details, not only regarding the facts of climate change, but they don't even get into the politics. They completely stay away from that, which is also very important, especially when you're trying to just deliver factual information about what's happening with the weather. It doesn't take a climate scientist, especially in the last few weeks, to let you know that it's been hot and something's off, given that we're not only breaking records here in New Jersey, but also nationwide, these all-time records that have never been broken before. That is some concern and some pause, because you kind of look back and you say, well, the previous all-time record happened just a few summers ago. So something clearly is going on.
Yeah. Yes, and one would hope. I do still see a lot of folks who are, they still just chalk it up to coincidence. And it's like, I don't know what more you need.
I think in time that hopefully that'll phase out, because there's overwhelming evidence. Hey, there was a time, once upon a time, where this meteorologist was kind of a climate, agnostic. I didn't really have an opinion, and I was kind of leaning toward, okay, maybe it is natural. But, over time, you see the evidence and you think, okay, there really is a connection. So great YouTube page, though, by the way, Rutgers has on the whole. So they have all of their videos listed. You can go back and watch those webinars and see the facts there that Dr. James mentioned. Next up, Hackensack Meridian is opening a new program for New Jersey seniors. Find out more next.
Summers in New Jersey were made to wow you. From sun and wows to fun and wows, and every wow in between. So come see what your wow's gonna be. New Jersey. It's one wow after another, after another, after another. You get it. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey. Little state, lot of wow.
Welcome Welcome back. I'm Mike Favetta along with Cara DeFalco. You're watching the New Jersey Morning Show. The Center for Healthy Senior Living at Hackensack Meridian, Hackensack University Medical Center, is opening a lifestyle and frailty program to enhance the overall well-being and safety of older adults. Here to tell us more is geriatric specialist and doctor of the program, Dr. Kamal Waggle. Welcome to the show, doctor.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
We're so glad you could join us. So can you tell us a little bit about the program? What inspired it?
So excited about the lifestyle medicine program in the Center for Healthy Senior Living. So this program will be intentional time and space to spend with patient, understanding their lifestyle pillars and using the therapeutic interventions on lifestyle pillars to strengthen their overall health and prevent and manage chronic diseases. And these lifestyle pillars include nutrition, physical activity, sleep, stress management, avoiding high-risk behaviors, positive social relationships.
Now, doctor, so much of this program is geared toward helping the older, generation kind of develop a better quality of life. Why else is this program important?
So it has been recognized that lifestyle factors are the root cause of a lot of chronic diseases. And if you think about an older adult, there's usually multiple comorbidities, medical conditions, a lot of medications, and functional difficulties. So working on lifestyle, a person can experience a positive progress in their health. It will likely to reduce their number of medications, improve more energy, more preventing falls, reduction of their complications of their chronic diseases. And it's been recognized that lifestyle factors are the first line treatment by all by it is in medicine. It has been recognized, but in conventional medical practice, there's not much time and space to talk about that, to help our patients on this field. So I think that it is much high time to work on lifestyle for our patients.
I think, and doctor, you're as you're speaking, I'm reminded of the Blue Zones research where we talk about octogenarians and people living well into 100 and those lifestyle factors that incorporate on that. So what can participants in the program expect and receive? So we talk about, you said, the nutrition, some basic movement, their community element. What kind of things how does the program provide those things?
That's a very interesting point. Just like you said, lifestyle factors and environment also influence our healthy aging, and now we know that it affects how the gene expresses and we call it epigenetics, and that also shapes our aging process. So a participant in this program you can expect that there will be an intentional time to discuss about their lifestyle, various elements of lifestyles, by using standard assessment tools. And together with the healthcare provider, they will make next baby steps to improve their lifestyles. They can expect to have better energy, more mobility, more improved quality of life, better sleep as they work on their lifestyle elements. And they will be able to enjoy this positive experience as they work on lifestyle. So it serves as a positive feedback to continue for them to work on their lifestyle. I also see my patients are able to cut down their medications and also reduce complications from some chronic diseases because of their we do more therapeutic intervention on their lifestyle.
Now, doctor, this can also help the family structure because a lot of times there are many elderly that are dependent on their family for support. So how can this program also benefit the caregivers for these patients?
It's always an aha moment for a family to express, to witness changes in their loved ones with the simple lifestyle interventions. And as a ripple effect, I've seen how the it affects the whole family. All the family's lifestyle approaches also improve. And I think one individual's lifestyle changes influences families, and eventually the community is affected by as a ripple effect. But also family will find it rewarding because now their loved ones is more enjoying their daily life. They are more independent. They are able to um, not take a lot of medication. No need for taking a lot of multiple medications. So the outcomes are very visible to the family members, along besides the individual.
Such a beautiful thing to watch. Doctor, for anybody who's watching and they want to, sign up or participate in this program, where do we go to find out more information?
Go to Hackensack Meridian Health website, and you can make an appointment at Center for Healthy Senior Living for our lifestyle medicine program. And we look forward to seeing some of you there.
Doctor, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. You have yourself a great day.
Thank you. To you as well.
Yeah, great stuff. I mean, they just, Mike, I don't know if you had a chance to watch, I think it was on Netflix. They did that whole Blue Zone span, and they talk about these people around the world who live in their 80s. And not just live well. They're out and about, they're walking. And it's very funny because around the world, seniors have a very different value to the community than they seem to here in the U.S. We tend to kind of put folks out to pasture, but these people are, Italy being one of them, Sardinia, they're walking those steps in those old towns. They're still cooking meals for their families. They're eating this nutritious food, and they are an active part of the community, and it makes such a difference in their lives.
Some of them even have social media accounts, and they're in their hundreds.
Yes.
And they post with their grandkids and great-grandkids, and you think, wow, okay, my daughter is 80 years old. So
Right.
it's really something. It kind of makes you think, like, wow, they must be doing something right.
They're doing something right for sure, and I'm glad to see that we're starting to catch on.
Yeah.
All right, guys, coming up, the Hudson Tunnel Project has officially been granted full funding. We'll tell you more about it next.
New Jersey, we've got more summer wows under the sun than anyone. So come see what your wow's gonna be in the little state of New Jersey, where it's one wow after another, after another, after another. You get it. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey, little state, lotta.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Mike Favetta, along with Cara DeFalco. On Monday, the Gateway Development Commission signed a full funding grant agreement with the Federal Transit Administration for $6.8 billion in federal funding for the Hudson Tunnel Project. Here to talk about the Gateway Development Commission Chief Public Outreach, Stephen Sigmund. Welcome to the show, Stephen. Great news for you to share with us this morning.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, and appreciate the opportunity.
We're very glad you could join us. Now, Stephen, I got to tell you, my career started as a traffic reporter here in New Jersey. I think I've been covering this project for about a decade now.
Yeah.
But so for those of us who have lost track over time, tell us about the project. What does it involve, and why is it so important?
Yeah, no, I'd be glad to. Thanks. So currently, actually for the last 114 years, there's been only one track in and one track out between New York and New Jersey at the busiest point of the entire Northeast corridor. And that 114-year-old tunnel is doing what any 114-year-old does, and it's gotten old, and it's prone to delays, breakdowns, crumbling. It was inundated with millions of gallons of salt water and Hurricane Sandy, which still affect the electricity. And look, everyone in New Jersey has experienced the effects of this, certainly even in the last couple of weeks, with enormous delays on New Jersey Transit and Amtrak, and those ripple out into the rest of the transit system. As we like to say, if the tunnel gets a cough, the George Washington Bridge catches a cold, right? So what we are doing is finally replacing that 114-year-old tunnel with a brand new 21st century 2-track tunnel and the full rehabilitation of the existing tunnel so that there will be 4 good as new tracks that are reliable and safe for the next 100 years.
So this funding is very important for the project. What does the funding grant mean for the project? Can work get started right away?
Yeah, work has already started. We've started work on both sides of the river, in New Jersey on a bridge where the 2 new tracks will come in under, and in New York on what's called a concrete casing, which is essentially a missing link section between what will be the new tunnel and a connection directly into Penn Station. So what this funding means is that we have the full funding to complete the project, right? To not just do those 2 initial projects or early work projects, but do the entire 9-mile new tunnel and rehabilitation of the existing tunnel. And that full funding has never existed before. I mean, there have been stops and starts in this project and an earlier version of it, as you were suggesting, for the last 15 years. And we're finally at a point where we have the funding necessary, the work that's going forward, and the work in the pipeline to ensure that this vital project, which is a really critical economic piece for the entire region and for the entire nation. The RPA did a study a couple of years ago that even if one of the existing tubes went down in a planned shutdown for a few years, it would cost the nation's economy $16 billion. And it would add 30 minutes a day to already the most congested commute in the country, and add 2 million tons of carbon into an already overheated atmosphere. So you're talking about a project whose time had come 15 years ago. And finally, we are at a point where we can say this project is going to be delivered and going to get done for the millions of riders who need it.
And that's a staggering figure that you just gave, where you said, even if it was a planned shutdown, I mean, it's almost triple the cost of not doing this thing. And I'm just reading, because it was a federally funded thing, because I know part of the initial project, does New Jersey pay for it? Does New York pay for it? So I think this has also been helpful in that the federal government's just paying for it.
Well, what's great about it is it was initially designed as a 50-50 split, as you suggest, between the federal government and the states of New York and New Jersey. The federal government's now picking up 70%, 73 to be exact, percent of the cost, $12 billion in direct grants, which is the largest contribution to a mass transit project in the history of America. And it deserves it because it's that important. The $4 billion local contribution, which is split between the Port Authority, New York, and New Jersey, is done through federal loans that are low interest and that don't have to start being paid back for another 10 years. So really, it's a deal that we can't refuse as a state, and particularly given the importance of the project. And I just want to talk for a minute about, I talked about the losses that would happen if we didn't build this project. The gains that you get from building this project are enormous as well. You get in direct 95,000 jobs, $20 billion in economic activity, and even more importantly, a more reliable commute. Getting home and getting to work when you are supposed to get home and get to work, as all of us know who ride through that tunnel now, a 35-minute ride is really a 50-minute ride. Instead, it will be a 35-minute ride. And most importantly, a mass transit system that works and that functions and that can support a growing region and growing nation and can support a future and can demonstrate that we can build real, important 21st century infrastructure that works for the next 100 years and not just rely on something that our great-great-grandparents at this point had the foresight to complete. We need to have the foresight to complete these projects so that our great-great-grandchildren 100 years from now can say, wow, this really served us and served this region and served this nation.
Wow, it's really important stuff. Do you think that there have been some lessons learned from other big infrastructure projects, in the city? I know the East River access, the East Side Access Tunnel was completed, and now it's far easier for people on the other side of the city to commute into Manhattan. Did that play a role in getting this funding secured and kind of making it a case for completing the project?
Yeah, I think all the fact that all of these major infrastructure projects, the airports, have gotten done played a significant role. I mean, for example, every time I go over the new Tappan Zee Bridge, you think about how did we support or allow the conditions that that existed for the last 30 years to exist. And I think that's what will happen when riders start going through the new tunnel. They will not be able to believe that we all endured and allowed the conditions to exist that we've allowed to exist for the last 20 years. But in terms of just direct lessons learned, major infrastructure projects, as all of your viewers know, are prone to delays and cost overruns. And one of the things that we're doing right now, one of the early works projects, was learned from the Boston Big Dig project, which is we are at the bottom of the Hudson River right now. We are working to stabilize the 1,200 feet that runs between on the western side of the river as you get into Manhattan, because like the Big Dig project, the tunnel has to kind of come up at that point and be very close to the bottom of the river. And the consistency of the bottom of the river there is sort of like described as like chocolate pudding. So unless you shore that up with a mix of concrete and soil and water, literally called soilcrete, the tunnel can't get through it. And so that is a lesson that was learned directly from that project, because they had that problem and figured it out by doing this method. We are now doing that method right now, so that when the tunnel boring machines come through, they will be solidified and you won't have to stop the work.
Incredible stuff. Speaking of those delays and things like that, what is the timeline, at least as of right now, for this to be? When do we think we'll see this thing be completed?
Yeah, look, unfortunately, this is a long, hard project. It's really 9 projects all working together to end up with the 9 miles. So it takes 10 years. I mean, this is going to be the new project. The new tunnel will be in service in, we estimate, 2035, and with the full completion of the rehabilitation in 2038. I mean, this is, truthfully, as I said, this should have been done by now, right? This is really something that has been needed in this region for the last 25 or 30 years. And so waiting any longer doesn't help. And yes, it takes a long time. And yes, we would like to deliver this project sooner, and we will do our best to deliver this project sooner. But this is a major, not 10-year, not 20-year, but 100-year project. And they take a significant amount of time to build. So thankfully, we have started, and we are not going to stop until we get this completed. And the funding that we announced on Monday gives us the capacity to do that.
Now, during this project, will people be able to, commuters, for instance, both in cars and transit passengers, will they be able to see the work or maybe be impacted from it during the construction?
Yeah. First of all, they're not impacted from it, which is we designed this project very carefully with the federal government so that it runs essentially as a detour to the existing tunnel while the existing tunnel is still in service. So there is no impact on service. That was the first rule, essentially, of doing this project, right? Because you can't make the mass transit system any worse right now, given that it is so tightly controlled and so congested already. The second thing is, I wish we could show, or you could see more of the work as it was going on. Most of it is underground, right? We will, make an enormous effort to show that work on video, on webcams, and things of that nature, so that the public gets a sense of it. But part of the issue, frankly, with why this hasn't been replaced yet is that it's a tunnel, and so much of it is underground that people don't really see it, even when you're in it. I mean, I'm in that tunnel. I ride through it for work and literally to get back and forth to work, but also for my work 4 or 5 times a week. And you don't see it when you're inside it. It's dark, right? So to see the condition of it, is a very difficult thing, but we're going to show it, right? We're going to show it to people, and we're going to show the urgency of it over and over and over and over, and show the progress of it over and over and over.
And we look forward to it. Gateway Development Commission Chief of Public Outreach, Stephen Sigmund, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it, and folks can learn more information at gatewayprogram.org. Stephen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. Like I said, that project's been, was one of the first things I covered when I started on air.
I remember, originally named the ARC project, and now it's the Gateway. So there's a lot of good things ahead for commuters in New Jersey.
Absolutely, long overdue. Also, we got more good things ahead for you right here on the New Jersey Morning Show. We'll be right back.
Summers in New Jersey We're made to wow you. From Sun and Wows, the Fun and Wows, and every wow in between. So come see what your wow's gonna be. New Jersey. It's one wow after another, after another, after another. You get it. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey. Little state, lot of wow.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Mike Favetta along with Cara DeFalco. With the election season gaining momentum, a New Jersey representative, Mikey Sherrill, called upon President Biden to drop out of the race.
As a Democrat from New Jersey District 12, Sherrill made this announcement on Tuesday after a meeting with other House Democrats, mentioning that, quote, the stakes are too high and the threat too real to stay silent. She urged Biden to find a new Democratic nominee to replace him this election season.
And Representative Andy Kim, a Democrat from Moorestown, who is a Democratic nominee for the Senate, also mentioned his concerns about Biden's ability to win this election. He noted that dismissing would not be right. While Kim has not made an official statement, he is open to discussions about replacing Biden.
And while Sherrill and fellow House Democrats endorse this opinion, Biden's campaign officials have noted that he is remaining in the race because, quote, the voters have spoken clearly and decisively.
And during the official meeting of House Democrats on Tuesday morning, just a handful of raised concerns about Biden's age and ability to win over former President Donald Trump. But Mikey Sherrill has officially withdrawn her support for Biden. So I guess there's a little bit more of the fallout after the debate. We were both, I was off, I was on vacation, didn't really catch the debate, but you couldn't escape the headlines, even from my destination, because it was a pretty big news event.
Yeah, it was. And, it's the quote from the Biden campaign, and this has come up in conversations I've had with people about this. We've done primaries already. So people have voted, and I do think for the DNC to come in and say, well, that was nice of you, but we're actually going to do something else, because we didn't like these 90 minutes of TV, it is disenfranchising to the people, I think.
Certainly.
Yes. And if they wanted to hold a separate special primary election, that would be something different. But at this point, I think especially in these times, to overturn an election in that way, because that's what it was. It was a primary election.
Yeah.
What does that say to your voters?
I think there's a lot of decisions being made at high levels that kind of make you scratch your head, like, isn't it supposed to be democracy?
Yes.
So that is just one of them. But
That's just one.
It really throws a wrench into kind of the status quo of what we'd expect these past presidential elections to look like, at least in the primary sense.
Yeah, it's definitely it's interesting, and we always look forward to having Laura Jones come back and fill us in with her insight as well. And you can always catch that right here on New Jersey, Laura Jones, NJ Politics with Laura Jones, because she always knows exactly what's going on. Where
Yep.
Mike and I are just kind of cursory looking at these things with the rest of you. But it's going to be interesting for sure. All right. More locally, Jersey City officials have recently announced a desire to strike down a proposal to widen and expand the New Jersey Turnpike.
Although the New Jersey Turnpike Authority released an environmental impact review 2 months ago, Jersey City Mayor and gubernatorial candidate Stephen Fulop expressed his belief that the review was inadequate. Fulop and other leaders are urging for an independent study by the U.S. Coast Guard.
Now, the proposal itself is a $10.7 billion project that would widen 8 miles of the turnpike from Newark Bay to the Holland Tunnel. Fulop and other leaders believe this expansion will exacerbate car pollution and traffic. Instead, they have called to use that money for infrastructure repairs.
The project's cost has also increased as the plan developed and inflation and interest rates rose, growing from its original $4.7 billion projection. While the New Jersey Turnpike Authority's assessment claimed that traffic will decrease and lead to no meaningful differences in air pollution, quote. Fulop and others disagree, claiming that this statement only evaluates the first phase of the proposal. So there's a lot of points to consider here, because the pollution aspect was one of the points that canceled or delayed indefinitely, whatever you want to call it, the congestion pricing in the city. So whoever's doing these environmental studies, I guess maybe not completely, thoroughly looking at all impacts, seems to be the going point of contention.
Argument,
to
yeah.
put things on pause. Yeah.
Absolutely. That was a part of my own commute for many years when I worked in the city, and you could use a few more lanes along that stretch.
Yeah.
So, it's just, I feel like, and especially in this area, this part of the country, we're constantly running into this point of contention of, we built these things with one use in mind, and we have grown so much that they are no longer capable of handling the number of people, cars, whatever you may have that are now using them. And it's like, well, do we build another roadway? Do we widen this one? And how do we do it in a way that doesn't impact the environment and the people who live nearby? And this is, we're the most densely populated state in the nation. I mean, we're going to start running into things.
But Jersey City, it dramatically increased its population by adding the light rail system. No new lanes of highway were added in those years during that big population boom downtown. So I could see there's more of an urge for the public transit route versus adding more lanes of highway.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Another interesting summer headline, as we are well into the summer season, New Jersey residents now face the threat of another virus.
Yes, dengue has reached the state of New Jersey, with 41 residents testing positive for the virus. You can contract the virus through the bite of an Aedes mosquito, which is also known as, also known to spread Zika, West Nile, and chikungunya.
Yeah, so the CDC has reported that in a single year, around 400 million people will catch the dengue virus. Around 100 million people will get sick after they are infected. Approximately 40,000 people will die from a severe infection.
In early July, all New Jersey residents who tested positive for a form of dengue received it from traveling. So no cases were contracted from local sources or areas. However, Bergen County had the highest number of cases, with 8 residents sick from the virus, and Somerset County had 5 cases.
So symptoms of dengue include fever, nausea, vomiting, rash, aches, and pain. And the CDC reports that 1 in 20 can contract a severe form of dengue, causing shock, internal bleeding, and possibly death. If you are experiencing any of those symptoms, please call your doctor or go to the emergency room. This is something that we've seen, in the past. I remember, the Zika some time ago. We hear about these things, and it is most of the time it comes from folks traveling abroad, and it comes back.
Yeah, but the fact that certain mosquitoes are now testing positive for West Nile in certain counties in New Jersey kind of brings you some pause, because that's not really supposed to happen here. However, it's felt so tropical all the way up the East Coast. We'll talk more about that later on with the weather forecast later today. You'll see that there's just been this surge of tropical moisture and heat and humidity that seems to be plaguing New Jersey. And you walk outside in the middle of the day in the bright sunlight, and my dog are getting attacked by mosquitoes when they're typically not supposed to be active, because the weather has been so favorable.
It's the
over
conditions.
The last few weeks.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Unusually warm, hot, and humid conditions that, make it feel quite tropical.
Yeah, and it has. All right, Mikey, we'll talk more about that tropical weather in just a little bit, but coming up, NJ Pack is offering a free summer concert, and we'll talk with the performers next.
New Jersey, we've got more summer wows under the sun than anyone. So come see what your wow's gonna be in the little state of New Jersey, where it's one wow after another, after another, after another. You get it. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey, little state, lotta.
Good morning. I'm Mike Favetta along with Cara DeFalco. You're watching the New Jersey Morning Show. NJ Pack's free summer concert series is in full swing with Brazilian percussionist Ciro Baptista performing tonight at 6 p.m. We have him here on the New Jersey Morning Show. Ciro, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much to invite me to your program in the morning.
Ciro, tell us about the free concert series. What does this event mean?
Well, this is like a celebration that we putting together with the Brazilian community in Newark. Oh, we have like 1 million people living in this area, from people from Brazil. And well, it's going to have a lot of samba and go there because it's time to shake your booty.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So, Ciro, tell us, how did your music career get started?
Well, like to tell the truth, I'm a percussionist, and my first instrument I played was a coconut that I cut in the middle, these sounds, and then from then I start. And that's it.
Ciro, I love that. You're so visibly in love with music and passionate about it, and use a coconut, your hands. You'll find any way to perform. What does it mean for you to be performing at NJ Pack tonight? To go from a coconut to NJ Pack?
Means a lot to me, and it's great that in the time that we are living, that these separations and all these problems that we're going through, I hope the music will be like an element to bring us together in this area, and with the Brazilians and the Portuguese and the Latin community. It's amazing that NJ Pack it's offering us this. It's a beautiful place outside, nice stage, and I think it's going to be a great time for you to go there and enjoy and have a great end of the afternoon. We also doing workshops in the community, in the schools, and it's been great. It's a great experience for me.
Ciro, that's great. And I wanted to ask you more about those educational workshops. So you work with kids in Ironbound in the Newark area. How do they get involved?
Yes, we did elementary school, middle school, high school, and it's fantastic. We're going there in their schools, and it's so much diverse. Newark is a magical place. Some amazing culture, amazing food. I'm so happy that I'm in this community, in this amazing environment.
Incredible stuff, and you're right. Music just brings that community together across borders. Where can we learn more about the concert tonight? Do we need tickets? How do we get there?
No, that's the main thing. It's totally free. It's gonna be great because besides my band, I also invite bands from Newark, and we're gonna have a forró band. We're gonna have like a dance forró class, like this Brazilian specific dance is amazing, and samba that everybody knows. Time for celebration.
Absolutely,
For free.
For free. Hey, listen, that's it. Joy is always free. Ciro Baptista, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. We can find you at your website, cirobaptista.com. Good luck tonight. Break a leg and have a wonderful concert.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Boy, his joy is contagious.
That is so, I wish I was free at 6 o'clock this evening, a free concert in front of NJ Pack, Sounds of the City, right in front of the Chamber Plaza. Sounds like so much fun. The weather's going to be great, so that's another plus, because you're going to have awesome weather, and sounds like a really fun time.
They're going to need it if they're going to be sambaing outside. That's going to, that's a lot of energy right there. All right, guys. Well, New Jersey is, of course, the Garden State, and I had the chance to check out one of our top farmers markets. Take a look.
For Jersey fresh produce and local meats, there's no place like your local farmers market. The township of Little Falls boasts the 4th-ranked farmers market in the state, according to their market manager, and for good reason. From vendors to events, the market is more than just a place to shop.
I want this to be a community event, not just some place you come, you shop, you leave. And I feel like that vibe has been growing more and more. Last year, we made it 4th as best farmers market in the state of New Jersey. So this year's goal is to make it number 1. And I feel there's a lot more chatter going on, a lot more people are talking about our market, so I feel like we got a good shot this year.
For all that talk, the market got off to a rocky start and almost never happened at all thanks to the pandemic.
Market 1, we went from originally in 2019, we had about 20 vendors to people backing out, people's businesses going under, to having probably about 12 vendors that first market. But we said we're going to push forward, we're going to do it, and the market became a staple. It became a staple during COVID. People were able to get out. During that time, people were wearing their masks here still and keeping social distance, but they were able to shop and get out.
The market only grew from there, showcasing over 30 vendors when we visited with a constantly updating list. It has quickly become the community event its founders always intended it to be.
Like supporting the local community. Residents here in Little Falls come down here about every weekend, quite honestly. Fresh produce, can't beat it. It's all locally grown. And yeah, good people, good atmosphere. So,
in Little Falls, I'm Cara DeFalco.
And the Little Falls Farmers Market is held on Sundays from May to October from 9 until 2. And Mike, I got to tell you, you could do a full grocery shopping there. They had everything you could need.
I love farmers markets.
They
are the coolest. The fact that you can meet the grower, meet the producer, meet people who usually make very unique and very niche products. Love local honey, for instance.
Yes.
And I feel like you can only find it at farmers markets. There are so many really great places because, yes, you might find one or two things at like your, local Whole Foods, which features a local producer, but like you really got to go to the farmers market to, get to meet the person.
And for everything I do on the Cara's Cucina side of my business and my work, I have a lot of farmer friends. And one of the things that they say all the time is, when you go to the farmer's market, like you said, when you get to meet the grower, you can ask those questions. Did you grow this? What did you put on it? And they're happy to tell you, because a lot of these farmers, they technically run organic farms, but you have to pay the FDA to get that USDA organic symbol. So when you have that opportunity to talk to them and it's local and it wasn't trucked across the country, I mean, just the benefits of that. And that last gentleman that we spoke with, he had a great story in and of himself. He actually was born and raised in the Midwest, did a lot of factory farming. And when he moved here to New Jersey, he goes to the farmers markets. He's like, I've seen firsthand what we put on the dirt, what we put on the food. And to be able to be here and talk to these guys and know that it came local, it's my preference for my family and my kids.
That's such a great thing.
Yeah, it was really great. A lot of fun. So Little Falls Farmers Market, definitely go check it out. That does it for us today on the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Cara DeFalco.
And I'm Mike Favetta. More New Jersey Morning Show coming right up.